Well, first of all, thanks for being here. I know you guys would really probably rather be out getting something good to eat and all that sort of thing, but I'm glad you're here so that we could share a few moments together. And especially, I want to say welcome to Dick Johns, because he's here so that he can see all of you and visit with you, and we can enjoy ourselves later. That'll be awesome. Obviously, it's an honor to be recognized by your peers for such a nice award, and I am so very thankful and grateful to all of you for that. But especially, I'm appreciative to Mary Arnold and Vanessa Shelton and Candy Bowen and Monica Hill and all the other chairs for their vision for this particular division, and especially for establishing the Teach-In. I think the Teach-In is one of those things that really has put a positive mark on the Scholastic division, and I'm so glad to have been a part of it at one point, and that it's continuing and doing well. I want to say, is Sally here? Oh, there you go. I have to say thank you to Sally for so very, very many things, but especially for teaching me that purple is not the only wardrobe color. Thank you, Sally. And I hope you notice there's no purple here.
What's your iPhone cover?
Well, there is that. And James Tidwell, I just have to acknowledge you too, because I know that you are in an ever-growing pursuit to understand that your books are king. And so I'm so glad that you're here soaking all of that in. James and I were on a panel at one point, New Orleans?
New Orleans.
In New Orleans, and we were discussing a legal case, and he said something about just let the yearbook go, and I kicked him under the table in the shins. And do you think that he could be quiet about that? No, he had to make a big deal about it. And we were honored also to have all sorts of good people in the room, but Mark Goodman, who, did you know, was voted the most courteous boy when he was in high school. There are all these really special things that we have to share. And, you know, we've all, well, you all have done amazing research, but Jack Dvorak has done some great stuff for all of us when he did his research for Journalism Kids Do Better. You know, you were able to give substance to those things that we already knew, at least thought we knew, but now we have statistics to go along with it, and I think that's pretty wonderful. And I want to say thank you and welcome to my husband, Martin Puntney, who's in the back of the room. He is wearing purple salad. He does deserve applause because he supports me in so very many ways. And also because he will not be roasting me tonight at this event, and I'm pretty grateful for that. Well, you know, perception and reality are always two very different things, I think. When I first came to this group, some 20 years ago, I sort of faced the moment with fear and trepidation. You guys were a force to be reckoned with. My perception was that I would never be accepted by this austere body. And that was a little terrifying to me, to not be in a group of people that I thought were going to be friendly and nice. But today, I think it's interesting that my reality is that you are all among my friends. I count you all among my friends and part of my professional family. You know, you can't share as many job-related frustrations and challenges of our children, the great personal losses that we've all had, and genuine concerns about our profession, where it is and where it's going, without being more than a force to be reckoned with. You know, we've shared the excitement of new jobs and promotions, the births of children and grandchildren, pride in research that's been done well, and working together is some of the best parts, I think, on projects that make a difference to the rest of our profession and our world. And you know what? The cool thing about working together is that none of us cared, I think, who got the credit. It's just that we wanted to do a better job and to do something right for people. So that's a reality that I think is pretty amazing. We've also supported each other when our profession lost some of the greats, Robert Knight, Dave Adams, Louis Englehart, Jackie Ingle. Those have all gone before us, but my, what great footsteps they left for us to try and fill. You know, we've exchanged gifts at the midwinter meeting, and for the most part, we've been nice about that, unless it comes down to chocolate and fine wine, and then we're more like a family. We kind of fight about that stuff. We've shared our knowledge with each other, and we've learned together when we've attended the Poynter Institute and sessions like these. The amazing thing is that we just do so much sharing, and that's a good thing. So I go back to my perception. Austere body to be reckoned with? think so. That perception was like way wrong. The real reality is that this is a group that's so very welcoming and so committed and encouraging to making scholastic journalism better that, you know, it's been one of the best professional experiences of my life, and I thank you for that. You know, and there may be a perception that because this division is small, that we're not as important as some of the larger, heftier divisions. But the reality is that we probably are the best division, the most important division, because we're focusing on the future of journalism, and that's what everybody ought to be concerned with, I think. So we ought to be valued and cherished and all that sort of stuff, and I think we're sort of making some headways in that direction. We've made strides in being recognized. We worked with the ASJMC committee to establish some guidelines for journalism workshops and how colleges can work with high school programs to develop more transparency and you know, cooperation on things, and that's been great. We've just worked hard to develop some strong relationships between the high schools and college programs. And you know, we just heard an amazing panel that talked all about that. There was a lot of that discussion going on. And we should applaud all of you who have worked so hard to do that. You know, and some folks might perceive my 42-year career, though I'm only 26, my 42-year career in collegiate scholastic media as one to be envied, maybe, because I've gotten to do a lot of really wonderful, amazing things. But the reality of all of that is that it's really a career that's been blessed, and it's been blessed with amazing students on every level, as Candace said, from junior high to high school to community college to Big 12 level, supporting administrators, which in this day and age I'm not sure you would find as easily as I found them. And colleagues and professionals like yourself who have made it possible for me to make more of a difference in the lives of my students and the publications that I advised. You know, and then I had this amazing opportunity to work with JEA. When Dave Adams called me suggesting that I might want to apply for JEA, he said, you know, this is a job description that's been written for you, and you should consider it. And so I did. And the job description put me back in the classroom, because I was then a director of public relations at a community college and didn't get to teach very much, and I love to teach. It put me back in touch with what I consider my roots, high school journalism, and that was amazing. And it let me advise a yearbook again, because our yearbook had been moved to a magazine, and that was all good, but getting to do all those things was incredible. My perception was that it was the perfect job. My reality was that it was the perfect job. Although I did perceive that high school teachers knew pretty much everything and they would be easy to work with. The reality is they have a little bit of trouble with deadlines. They don't like to read very much, and when we had a convention in Albuquerque, I had one irate advisor on the phone who called me a child of the devil, eventually, because we had scheduled our convention in New Mexico where people would be required to have passports. And I said, oh my. I'm not thinking so. I think it's going to be okay. So JEA has let me do a lot of educating for a lot of different ways. I've even educated students that they should not stab their mattresses with long machete knives that they purchased on the street in Washington, D.C. And they cannot go skinny dipping in hotel pools when there's a big wrought iron fence and they had to crawl over the fence to get in, even though it didn't say no skinny dipping in the pool. I've done a lot of instruction in a lot of different ways. But we've also developed some amazing programs that I think exceeded my perception and became a reality that I'm really proud of. And you know what? For a lot of folks, there's a perception that Candy and I are the same person. we often get that. And you know, let's think about it. We're both KSU, Kent State University, Kansas State University. We're both First Amendment fighters in kind of a big way. We both love teaching in a huge way. We like to shop. In fact, I was shopping with Candy once and she'd lost a shoe. She'd lost a shoe, so we had to go buy her a pair of shoes. And she was tired, and she was looking at the shoes, and they were too expensive. And I said, hey, how about this pair? And she said, I don't need it. I said, why? She said, I have a shoe. She only had one shoe, but that was good enough for her. We both married men who were in the same profession, and we live by her theory of rotational neglect. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but you probably have. And by my philosophy that things change and we adapt. There's so many similarities that we often call ourselves the P twins, Perkins, Puntney, and that's kind of fun. But the reality is, she's a lot shorter than I am.